Welcome back, everyone, to Beyond the Known. I am so excited for this one.
Yeah.
This is it.
It is.
We've been talking about this for so long. This is our very first deep dive in our UFO series.
Great.
And we're starting it off with one of the most famous cases.
Definitely a classic.
The alleged alien abduction of Travis Walton from 1975.
Right.
And I got to say, the research material you sent me is so fascinating.
It is a really fascinating one, isn't it?
Oh, my gosh.
It's one of those stories that you can...
That's like you
just can't look away.
You can't make it up.
Yeah.
You can't.
No.
So, okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to lay out what we have here.
Okay.
So we have the story,
Yep.
the narrative of the abduction itself.
The incident.
Right. Then we have...
Like a sort of a debunking or skeptical examination of it.
Yeah, some more critical analyses of those events. And then we also have like first-hand accounts.
We do.
From people.
Right.
Who were there. So it's like we've got this really great multifaceted picture.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is really dive deep into this and figure out why.
Yes.
Why this story has endured.
Why does this one?
For so long.
Why is it a classic?
Yeah. What is it about this story that's captivated people?
Yeah.
For decades now.
For sure.
So let's just jump right in.
Okay.
Okay, so this all takes place November 5th,
1975.
1975.
Yeah.
In the Apache Sitgreaves National Forests in Arizona.
Near a small town called Heber.
Near Heber, Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And this Travis Walton is a 22-year-old forestry worker.
He is.
Part of a 7-person crew.
Yep.
And his future brother-in-law is the leader of this crew.
That's right.
Mike Rogers.
Mike Rogers.
So they're working on this federal contract.
They are.
To thin trees.
Yeah.
In an area called Turkey Springs.
Right.
And there's a deadline.
There is.
Of November 10th.
Good deadline.
Yeah. And if they
tied up quick.
Don't meet it, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, there could be some serious financial penalties.
Yeah. But here's the thing that, like, I found just so interesting is that on October 20th.
Okay.
So not very long before.
A couple weeks before.
The alleged abduction. Travis and Mike Rogers watched the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The UFO incident.
I love that detail.
Which is based on
Barney and Betty.
The Barney and Betty Hill
abduction.
Yeah. And not only that, but they talked about.
Oh, they did.
What it would be like to be taken.
Like, what if that happened to us?
On a flying saucer.
Come on.
I know. It's like, what? How do you even process that?
Yeah, you got to wonder, like, was it joke?
A premonition?
Yeah.
Was it just like a casual conversation? Or was it something?
Were they putting something out there into the universe?
Well, right. We don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just so creepy.
It's definitely a little spooky.
That it happened.
It really adds a layer to it, doesn't it?
Okay. So let's go through what happened according to this crew. Okay, so they're driving back.
Right.
After sunset.
After a long day of work.
Yeah. And they see a lit object.
Yeah.
Above the ground.
A classic UFO sighting.
I know.
Right.
And Travis gets out of the truck.
Oh, he does.
Yes. Why does he do that?
We don't know. He just gets out of the truck.
He gets out.
And he starts walking towards it.
What?
I know. And then this beam of light.
Oh, boy.
Hits him.
A beam of light.
Yeah.
From the object.
Yeah. And the other guys
understandably freaked out.
They freak out.
Yeah.
And they drive away.
Right.
And they come back.
They said they came back about 15 minutes later.
Like 15 minutes later. And he's gone.
He and the light are gone.
And the light is gone. Okay, so immediately.
Of course.
This is a huge deal.
Missing person.
Huge deal, right?
Yeah.
They contact the police. And search parties are sent out.
Right.
But get this. Travis's mom.
Okay.
Mary. She insists.
She does.
That they call off the search.
Really?
That's interesting.
It's really weird, right?
Yeah.
And the sheriff.
Sheriff Marlon Gillespie.
Garland Gillespie?
Yeah.
He was immediately...
Right from the start.
Suspicious.
Skeptical.
Yeah. He just didn't buy it. And the deputy sheriff, Kenneth Copeland.
All right.
He said that when they told Travis's mom that he was missing...
Yeah.
She was super calm.
Oh, wow.
Like, really calm.
Yeah.
And that she said...
What did she say?
Well, that's the way these things happen. I mean, come on.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, that's kind of a strange reaction, isn't it?
He has a really strange reaction.
If your son's missing.
Right. Like, wouldn't you be...
You think you'd be a little more...
Frantic.
Yeah, hysterical, maybe.
Yeah. And then our research material also said that...
What's that?
Travis and his mom and his brother,
okay,
Dwayne, had been really into UFOs.
Oh, they were like
Long time.
UFO enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you start to see how some people might be like
Maybe this was a setup.
a hoax.
Right, right.
Especially because, remember they had that deadline.
Oh, yeah, they were under pressure.
Contract.
Yeah.
And they could have lost a lot of money.
A lot of money.
So maybe
real thing,
this was an act of God.
An act of God.
To get out of it.
To get out of the contract.
Right. Okay, so 5 days and 6 hours later.
Okay.
Travis calls his sister.
From where?
From a phone booth.
A phone booth.
In Heber.
Okay.
So he's back in town.
Right.
His brother-in-law and his brother go and get him. And he said he's totally disoriented.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't really know what's going on. Says he hasn't eaten. Doesn't remember anything.
So classic alien abduction stuff.
It's like textbook.
Yeah.
Alien abduction. Okay. So, of course, this becomes a media sensation.
Well, of course it does.
And Travis sells his story.
To who?
To the National Enquirer.
Oh, the Enquirer.
And the crew even gets a $5,000 prize from them.
Wow.
I know. And then Travis writes a book
called
The Walton Experience.
Of course.
Which later becomes the movie.
Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky. Okay, now, this is where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
Polygraph tests.
Ah, yes.
Okay, so a UFO group and the National Enquirer, they arrange a polygraph test.
For the crew.
For the crew.
Okay.
And they say...
What do they say?
That they're telling the truth.
Okay.
But skeptics say that those
tests aren't reliable.
Aren't reliable. And it gets even crazier because the same UFO group, they hired another polygraph examiner named Jack McCarthy, and he said that Travis...
He said Travis was lying.
Was lying. So even within the UFO community, people couldn't agree on whether or not he was telling the truth.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these possible motives.
Okay.
Because I think that's really important.
It is.
So Philip J. Klass, who's a well-known skeptic.
A famous UFO skeptic.
Yeah. He really focused on the timing.
Oh, yeah, that deadline.
Of the abduction, right? And he pointed out that Travis had a past.
Oh, he did?
A legal issue. Back in 1971.
What happened?
He had pled guilty
to
breaking into an office, stealing checks, and forging them.
Okay.
Even though he was later allowed to change his plea and get his record cleared, it was still something that,
it's something to point
to make people doubt him. His credibility.
Right. And then one of the other crew members.
Which one?
Steve Pierce.
Steve Pierce.
He said that on the day of the alleged abduction, Travis was acting really weird.
Like how?
He was sleeping in the truck all day.
Really?
Yeah. Saying he wasn't feeling well after a night of drinking. And that they all worked super late that day.
Oh, so later than usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of strange.
Yeah, you think they'd want to get home? Yeah, you think they'd want to get back.
Especially if they're on a deadline.
Yeah. And Pierce also said that Mike Rogers, the crew leader, disappeared from the work site for 2 hours that day.
No kidding.
Yeah. So again...
More suspicious behavior.
It just
doesn't add up. Right.
So let's go back to those polygraph tests.
Okay.
Because there's more to the story.
What is it?
The 6 crew members.
Okay.
They actually did take polygraph tests.
You did?
Right after Travis disappeared. As part of the missing person investigation.
Right.
But those tests were really focused on...
Like, were they involved in his disappearance?
Like, had they harmed him?
Right.
And the examiner said...
What was his name?
C.E. Gilson.
Okay.
He said that. 5 of them.
5 out of 6.
Seemed to be telling the truth.
Okay.
And one of them...
Alan Dalis.
The results were inconclusive.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, remember when the National Enquirer publicized that the crew had passed a polygraph?
Right.
They conveniently left out that another examiner,
Jack McCarthy,
had found that Travis was deceptive.
They did.
So.
It's just so manipulative.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're only telling you the part of the story that they want you to hear.
Right.
And so skeptics also point out that that initial polygraph was really just to find out
if they'd heard him.
If they'd done something to Travis. It wasn't about
UFO.
Whether or not they'd seen a UFO. Okay, so now let's fast forward to 2021.
Okay.
This is crazy.
What happened?
Mike Rogers.
The brother-in-law.
Yeah, the crew leader. He goes on social media.
No way.
And he says...
What does he say?
That the whole thing...
The whole thing?
Was a hoax.
Really?
Yeah, that it was all staged. Because he and Travis had a falling out.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
I mean, that's huge.
I know, but then what?
He retracts it.
Oh, he takes it back.
Yeah, that's even weirder.
I know. It's like, what is going on?
What is the truth?
Right. So our research material also points out that there was this fire lookout tower nearby.
Oh, interesting.
And researchers have said that that tower and its spotlight could have been mistaken.
Mistaken for a UFO.
For a UFO beam.
Right.
Right. Especially at night.
Right.
You know.
Out in the woods.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it also mentions that...
What's that?
The Waltons had a reputation for pranks.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's interesting.
It is.
And the details of Travis's account don't really line up.
They don't?
With a lot of other...
With what?
Alien abduction stories.
Oh, like the classic alien abduction syndrome.
Yeah, like there are certain things that a lot of abductees report that he doesn't.
That Travis doesn't.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the documentary.
All right. The true story of Travis Walton.
Yes. Because this really gives us...
more of a personal perspective on what happened.
Right, from the people who were there.
Yeah. So the crew members, they talk about...
What do they say?
How scared and confused they were when Travis disappeared.
Yeah.
And how intense the media and the police scrutiny was.
Right.
Like they really felt...
like they were under a microscope.
The pressure.
Yeah.
And they all pretty much stuck to their story.
They did.
And they kept bringing up those polygraph tests.
Saying, look, we passed.
Yeah, like we passed.
You must be telling the truth.
We're telling the truth.
Yeah.
And the documentary also talks about...
What's that?
How Travis was really messed up.
Emotionally.
Yeah, after he came back.
I mean, I can imagine.
And how hard it was for him to deal with everyone doubting him all the time.
Yeah.
He did a regression hypnosis session.
Oh, he did?
And he said that he remembered being inside the object.
And what did he see?
And he saw these short, bald creatures.
Like the classic little gray aliens.
The gray aliens. And then later, he said he saw more human-looking beings.
Human-looking.
Yeah. But, you know, with hypnosis...
you got to be careful.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
Oh.
Because it's not always reliable.
Memories can be implanted.
Right. Okay, so the documentary features some big names in ufology.
Oh, it does?
Stanton Friedman.
Right.
He's in it.
Yeah.
And it mentions J. Allen Hynek.
Okay.
But it's not really clear from our research if he actually...
if he was really involved.
Investigated this case.
Yeah.
But Friedman, he says...
what does he say?
The fact that there were multiple witnesses makes this case...
makes it more credible.
Super unique. Yeah. And then this is really interesting.
Okay.
The documentary talks about the trees.
The tree.
At the site.
Okay.
And how some of them were growing way faster.
Oh, really?
Than they should have been.
Wow.
And some people have connected that to...
radiation
from the UFO.
Wow.
But that's never been proven.
No.
So, what do we make of all of this?
I mean, it's a lot to process.
It is.
Right.
It's so confusing.
It really is.
Because you have the crew sticking to their story.
Yeah.
Even though there are
some holes.
Some inconsistencies. You've got this suspicious timing.
Right.
You've got these backgrounds that make you question things. And then you have the polygraphs.
The polygraph.
That are all over the place. Wow. And then Mike Rogers recanting.
And then retracting.
And retracting. It's like, what do we believe?
What are we supposed to believe?
Right. So, this case.
Travis Walton case.
It's like a puzzle.
It is.
With missing pieces. And I think that's why it's so fascinating.
It's frustrating.
And frustrating because we want answers.
We do.
But we may never get them.
Right.
So for you listening, I want you to think about what stands out to you the most. What do you find the most compelling?
The most compelling.
The most unbelievable.
Because this is what it's all about.
It's about critical thinking and examining the evidence and making up your own mind. And this is just the beginning.
The beginning of our UFO series.
Yeah. We've got so many more
I can't wait.
Deep dives to come. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this,
please like,
follow, and subscribe.
And a follow.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
On Beyond the Known.